Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome to another episode of Cycling Insider. In this episode, let's talk about Trek Domane SL5 for the 2022 season. But before we start, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe and hit that little bell icon so you're always notified when I make a new video. And of course, if you are already a subscriber, then definitely thank you. So, as I was saying, 2022 Trek Domane SL5 road bike. Let's first answer the question, who is this bike for? So you see, Trek Domane platform is a typical endurance bike platform. So long days in the saddle, very smooth, very relaxed bike ride. So if you are in the market for this kind of endurance road bike, then definitely check the Trek Domane platform. Retail price for this bike is $3,200, which is a pretty spicy price, I have to say, but we will see when we dive into the specifications of this bike what do you really get for your hard-earned money. Also, one interesting thing is when it comes to the paint scheme on this bike, Trek is offering 3 paint schemes, which is absolutely beautiful and brilliant. I wish that other bike manufacturers are offering so many paint schemes on their bikes. So the first classical paint scheme is this satin black with kind of a hint of, I would say, gold. Looks pretty decent, looks pretty nice. Personally, I wouldn't choose that paint scheme. I would choose something between this metallic red and deep dark blue. Absolutely beautiful paint scheme. And then they have this pretty surprising, I would call it like a snow white paint scheme with a hint of silver. All 3 paint schemes very nice, very good, and I'm really glad that Trek is offering 3 paint schemes because, again, after all, retail price of this bike is $3,200 US dollars. So now let's dive in and let's have a look at the technical specifications of this bike, and at the end I will give my opinion. Do I have any special complaints about this bike? So we can kick off with the frame and the fork. So you see, the frame is a carbon fiber 500 series OCLV carbon fiber frame from Trek, and keep in mind that this is not, top of the line creme de la creme carbon fiber frame that Trek can do. It's a good carbon fiber frame, but not top of the line. So 500 series OCLV carbon. This frame's secret sauce is definitely this patented solution from Trek, their front and the rear ISO-speed decoupler. What does it mean? So basically on the rear, your seat tube can move independently from the top tube and the seat stays, and on the front you also have a bit of movement, so both these ISO speeds, front and the rear, front meaning inside your front tube, will basically make your ride much smoother, and this is the whole point of this ISO speed. It's a pretty, I would call it a secret sauce of the industry, specifically of Trek. Nobody else does it this way, so it's a very neat solution. Of course, this carbon fiber frame has again one of the Trek's kind of signatures lately, which is the internal storage compartment, which is basically on the down tube of the bike. You have a bit of storage. Again, a great solution because you can always bring some of your tools or maybe even an inner tube if you are using inner tubes. This carbon fiber frame comes with the chain catcher, again great stuff. Fender mounts all around the carbon fiber frame. It is ready for the flat mount disc brakes, a bit of internal cable routing of course, and you will also have a 12mm through axles, both front and the back. When it comes to the fork, we are dealing here with the Trek Domane SL carbon fiber fork, so this is with the tapered carbon fiber steerer. Again, internally routed, braking cables, fender mounts, flat mount disc brakes, and 12mm through axle at the front. So both this carbon fiber frame and the fork, perfectly fine. I have no complaints here, and also keep in mind that Trek is giving you a lifetime warranty on their carbon fiber frames and the forks, which is always a great thing in the industry. Now let's talk about the wheelset on this bike. The wheelset is, of course, one of the weaker points of this bike because it's a very classical aluminium wheelset from Bontrager. Bontrager is an in-house brand of Trek. So an aluminium rim, 12mm through axles front and the back, hubs, again some kind of Bontrager's aluminium sealed bearing hubs. I would expect that the total weight of this wheelset is closer to 2 kilograms, so 2000 grams, so nothing special in that department. And also this wheelset is 24 spokes front and the back, 21 millimeters is the internal width, and of course it is tubeless ready. And as I see here, you will get a tubeless valve and a tubeless tape with this bike, so this is great, so you can easily turn this wheelset into a tubeless wheelset, which I would gladly recommend you do. Tires, this wheelset is basically wrapped in the Bontrager's R3 hard case tire. The good thing here is that this is a 120 TPI tire, so it's going to be very smooth, very supple, and also this is a 32 millimeter tire. Absolutely superb choice. This is an endurance bike and you need a tire with a lot of air volume because the ride is going to be so much more smoother. Also keep in mind that this frame is going to accept all the way to 38 millimeter tires, so maybe in the future you want to even upgrade and put like a 35 mil tire or even 38, which in my opinion is totally fine on this endurance bike. Now we can talk a little bit about the Groupset on the bike. So the Groupset is classical Shimano's 105, which is a Shimano 105 R7000 mechanical Groupset. So this is 11-speed mechanical Groupset, and always keep in mind that Shimano 105 is a perfect example of a Shimano's workhorse, totally reliable Groupset and a great value for money. So if you look at the shifters, you are getting a Shimano's 105 R7000 shifters, or to be precise, R7020. Front mech, again Shimano's 105, and the rear mech Shimano 105. Just a little note on the rear mech, it's a long cage, which means that you can you can fit the cassette of 34 tooth cassette on this bike. Crankset, again, no cutting corners, Shimano 105 crankset, this time compact crankset, 50-34 crankset, and immediately it is paired with the cassette, Shimano's 105 cassette, great, no cutting corners. This HG 700 cassette is 1134, so 1134 cassette paired with 50-34 chain rings absolutely are gonna give you a huge range of gears, and you have this 1-1 ratio, 50-34, 11-34 at the back. Absolutely great, there's nothing to add here, I would just keep it as it is. Chain is again Shimano's HG 601, which is a Shimano 105 level chain, so they didn't cut corners here, so everything cassette chain, superb choice. I forgot to mention before, when it comes to the frame, the bottom bracket is the Praxis T47. That's a threaded bottom bracket, great choice from Trek, and your local mechanic is gonna love it, just because it's gonna be so much easier to service this threaded bottom bracket than, classical press fit bottom bracket. So all in all, the whole kind of drivetrain, very good choice, Shimano 105 mechanical Groupset. Now let's talk about some smaller components. Saddle on the bike is the Bontrager's P3 Verse saddle with steel rails. Since saddles are a personal preference, please do find yourself, a saddle that you really like and then fit it on this bike. Doesn't cost a lot of money in today's world. Seat post, this is a bit tricky part on this bike. So you see it's Bontrager's carbon fiber internal seat mast cap. So what does it mean is basically that the seat post, carbon fiber seat post, goes into the tube of the frame. Manufacturers usually do it to get a bit more flex, in the seat post, so you get a bit more smoother ride, which is perfectly fine, but then just keep in mind that in the future, if you are changing your seat post, you'll probably need to stick with this Bontrager's internal seat mast cap style seat post. And as I'm quickly researching on the Bontrager's offering, these kind of seat posts can cost you easily like $260 US, $250 US to replace. So this is a little bit of tricky part. I wish that Trek has stuck with a classical carbon fiber seat post, let's say 27.2 millimeters in diameter, so in the future you would easily change it if you need to. This way I think you're going to be stuck with this Bontrager's internal seat mast cap. Handlebars in the stem. Handlebars is a classical Bontrager aluminum stem, perfectly fine, no complaints here. And the stem is also a classical Bontrager aluminum stem. So handlebar and stem are separate pieces, which is always great in my opinion, because in the future if you want to replace any part, it's so easy to replace it. For example, if you want to, upgrade to some carbon fiber pieces, or if you want to set your position on a bike really nicely, then it's great to have a separate handlebars and the stem. They are aluminum pieces, but as I say, this is perfectly fine, no complaints here from me. Now let's talk about the braking system on the bike. So the braking system is, in my opinion, superb. Shimano's hydraulic disc brakes. This is the Shimano's 105 level hydraulic disc brakes. They come with the Shimano's RT70 braking rotors. Perfectly fine, 160 millimeters both front and the back, and these are of course center lock rotors. There's only one recommendation from me in the future. Once when you destroy these braking rotors, I would gladly upgrade to the Shimano's Ultegra level braking rotors, just because they will have a bit more better heat dissipation than these basic RT70 braking rotors. And finally, the total weight of the bike is 9.2 kilograms in size 56. I'm so glad that Trek includes, a weight in size 56. So it's not the light bike by no means, but again, this is a classical endurance road bike. So what you want out of this bike is kind of comfort and really smooth riding. You are not so worried about the total bike weight. So 9.2 kilograms is just decent, nothing special. So, in a summary, do I have any special complaints about this bike, considering the price, retail price of $3,200? Well, I immediately have to say that $3,200 is really spicy from Trek. I truly hope that you can some kind of negotiate a little bit down this price, and if you get it for about $2,900 to $3,000, then it's perfectly fine. The way it is now is just a little bit too much, about $300 in my opinion, too much. But the biggest complaint would be this seat mast cap, carbon fiber seat mast cap that Bontrager is using, Trek is using, because in the future, if you want to change this seat post, I'm afraid you'll have to be kind of stuck with some kind of Bontrager proprietary design. But please do check with your local Trek bike dealer, is this true, or you can mount any other carbon fiber seat post, which would be great. A little tip for the future upgrade would definitely be, as I said, these braking rotors, which are now Shimano's RT70, perfectly fine out of the box, but in the future I would definitely upgrade these to the Shimano's Ultegra level braking rotors, and of course, as always, if you want to play a little bit with buying a better set of wheels in the future, then I would definitely recommend you to have a look at the DT Swiss offering and then see what you can get there. All in all, a decent bike from Trek. I can't say it's anything, revolutionary, and still I think the price is a bit too spicy. For about, $300 discount would really be good on this bike. So, I think this is going to be it for today. I hope you like what I'm doing, and if you do, please do subscribe and hit that little bell icon so you're always notified when I make a new video. And as always, I will see you soon in the next episode. Pura Vida.